I like the new intro.
Shout out to Gorilla 977 for that wonderful DMCA-free licensed music that we provided for you here on the Uninformed Fan. Welcome in, everybody. It is really, really good to be back. Nice little getaway for a while. You know, it's the dark days of sports, you know, in my opinion. You know, we're going to get into that in a little bit. Jeffrey and the three-time jumped in and gave a little show. Was it last week or the week before?
2 weeks ago.
A couple weeks ago. But yeah, you know, we're on summer break. It is what it is. Deal with it. I know you guys want the content. We're here. We're back. Justice in the house. What's up? What's up? What's up? I'm sure Buff and everybody will be in. Welcome in, Jeffrey. How the hell we been?
Doing great.
Been months.
I don't think it's been months, but
years.
I mean, I just saw you a few weeks ago. We played golf, and there was the controversy of the century when it comes to golf, but that's okay.
Oh yeah,
we're gonna digress off of that. We won't talk about that publicly.
I think we should.
But
I think we should put that up to the people. I really do.
You think we should create a poll?
Yeah. If we have anybody that joins or looks at our Twitter or X, whatever it is, I mean,
yeah,
we can get into it.
Anyway,
I think that's a hot topic, honestly, and something that needs to be addressed. Regardless, you know, I mean, whatever stance you have on it, it's fine. And we're going to talk about this. Let's get into the introductions first. Let's get all the out of the way. Jeffrey, how we doing? You're looking great, by the way. I'm upset we didn't get to link up last night.
Yeah, I mean, I still went and enjoyed a few libations and then came home. But I'm out of there, bro. 12:30.
I wish I could, dude. I'll tell you.
Time to go.
I don't mind going back to work, but closing at midnight is not something I'm built for anymore. It's just not.
Yeah.
And I had a wonderful experience. A family came in and they're like, "Hey, what time do you guys close?" I'm like, "Midnight." And they're like, "Oh, well, our daughter turns 21 at midnight, and we were kind of wanting to do a celebratory toast." And I'm like, "Oh, okay, cool." And he's like, "So can we come in at midnight?" I'm like, "Absolutely. Come on in." Woo!
I didn't even know if you're allowed to serve them at midnight. All right. I don't think so.
Dude, I'm just out here. I'm just out here making magic, bro. I'm just out here making magic.
You see that Shane Gillis was doing this stand-up, and it was hilarious. He was talking about when he was a door guy. And he was saying that he was a door guy somewhere, and he never once rejected somebody's ID or didn't let somebody in. That's the kind of door guy that he was, and that reminded me of that situation right there. It's like, you know what, just give me something.
Yeah,
you're with your family, whatever.
As I'm breaking down the bar, and I'm like, because the bar is just whatever anyway. I got to put all the liquor bottles away in a different area, whatever. And I'm just like, you know what, whatever. And then honestly though, the look on the girl's face, I got to serve it. It just baffles my mind also that 2004 are 21-year-olds now, born in 2004.
Was she cute?
Yeah. I only have eyes for my wife, Jeffrey. Love you, babe.
She's not listening to this.
That's a good point. My wife doesn't
care?
support the podcast.
My wife would never listen to this ever.
She's
God,
her
it'd be an
friend
audio book or something like that. Definitely not this.
her friend was on a different level.
Anyway.
Very nice. Yes. So let's get into it. All right.
Yeah.
Let's get into it. As you see, the jerseys are still rocking because it's always hockey season in the Thomas Billiard Man Cave. The Florida Panthers take down back-to-back cups. And that team just looked absolutely dominant. They ended up finishing off the Oilers in 4-2, but it felt like, and I know a lot of people already said this, it honestly felt like a sweep. It really did. The two losses both were in overtime. The Florida just seemed to dominate this whenever they wanted to. They had a hiccup there, that game in Edmonton, and even then they came back. My goodness, what a time to be alive in Florida for hockey between the Tampa Bay Rays and the Florida Panthers.
Tampa Bay Lightning.
It's been, what'd I say?
Rays.
Oh, I got my baseball jersey on.
It's okay. Listen, we're wetting the whistle. We're getting back into the rhythm and the flow of things. It's completely understandable.
Yeah, but it's been either the Lightning or the Panthers, and they have not disappointed. What an absolute run. Brad Marchand, whatever you want to say, whatever. Absolutely just electric in these finals. Glad to see him get out of Pittsburgh. Let's be honest, Pittsburgh hasn't really been relevant in quite a while. Even though they had the talent, the fact that was a very controversial trade. And there was a Blackhawks guy. Gosh, I can't remember his name. Jeremy, do you remember what the Blackhawks game is? We traded the defenseman to the Panthers. He got the ring as well. Congratulations to him. You know what? Fuck you, Canada. How about that? Cup still doesn't go north of the border.
Yeah, I mean, it's funny. I saw this thing and it was a picture of the Sawgrass Mills Mall. And if you know, you know. It's hilarious. It said this is where Hockey Town is. Like, it's wild to think that, like, of everywhere, all this cold weather stuff everywhere, and then here we are, that the Florida Panthers are dominant in fashion. And of course, they even said that they knew their toughest series going into this was going to be against the Tampa Bay Lightning this year. So just really cool. Who was the kid last night? Had 4 goals.
Gosh, what was his name?
Sam Reinhart. Right?
It was Reinhart.
Yeah. Sam Reinhart, I believe, and he came from Buffalo, the Sabres. So that was kind of cool as well too. That little connection. There was always to Buffalo from the Kitty O'Shea's bar. So just cool to see. Shout out to the Florida Panthers. Congratulations on the Stanley Cup. Florida dominant and everything, man. Crazy.
Absolutely. What a time to live in Florida. I mean, it's awesome. Absolutely awesome. And for the Edmonton Oilers, I don't know what else you do here. They pretty much shut down Connor McDavid. And Jeremy, again, I can't remember they have another really, really good player on that Edmonton Oilers team. I can't remember his name off the top of my head. They shut them both down. I mean, this is the exact same thing. They went to the exact same thing, same exact cup finals, lost again. They're going to the drawing board trying to figure out what to do. I tell you what, Edmonton, the best thing you can do is just trade Connor McDavid to the Chicago Blackhawks for that 3rd overall pick. We'll send you a couple players back. Let's get him to Beantown and let's get it going here a little bit. Leon Draisaitl, another one. They just shut him down. So congratulations to Florida Panthers and Sunrise, Florida, and all of those wannabes that live outside of Miami that claim to be hockey fans. Congratulations as well. And no offense to the Canadians that actually listen to the podcast. It's just one of those things. When the Four Nations Cup came out and Trudeau, had his little whatever you want to say about how this is, Canada's game. And I'll be perfectly honest, it is, right? Some of the best players come from Canada, but
For sure.
We'll get you on the next one. And as long as you just continue to not have a cup north of the border, we'll be perfectly fine.
Yeah.
Well, let's get into a little bit of
our brothers over there in Canada. We appreciate you. We love you. Thank you for everything. And keep on being great people. But
yeah, come be part of the United States, bro. Like, I mean, seriously, just come be part of the United States.
I don't need that, but
why not? I mean, it does nothing for us. Let's be honest. I mean, I think their GDP is less than California. I mean, it really does nothing for us. Yeah. But just another place to visit. It's a beautiful country, though. Beautiful area. We'll see.
Where have you visited up there? Anywhere?
Just Vancouver so far. And I was only there for like 3 days. Gorgeous, man. Absolutely gorgeous. I would love to get back there in the summertime. It was absolutely. It's one of those places where you can go water skiing and snow skiing in the same.
It's interesting. Kendrick Lamar was just in Canada as well too. He was in Toronto for a few nights, but he decided.
I saw that he had to be escorted
out in New York. Yeah, he decided to sleep over in New York and go back into the shows.
Because
Interesting.
he's saying not like us. Apparently, that's not good up there.
I mean, I would think that you wouldn't go into another person's house and shit on the living room and.
But does he own the whole country?
He's in Toronto.
That's where he lives.
Yeah.
What's he gonna do? What's Drake gonna do? Go put a hit on him?
Anyway, moving on.
Anyway, let's talk to some more shenanigans here and some more low-rated shit. The NBA finals are going on, and I don't know if anybody cares. We have the Indiana Pacers versus the Oklahoma Thunder, two of probably the worst marketable teams that there are out there. Indiana probably a little bit higher than Oklahoma. It still baffles my mind that Seattle lost their NBA team. But, I mean, going and looking at the city of Seattle, I'm glad that you guys got out. But, my goodness, the Seattle Supersonics days were quite something. I will put Drake's in my mouth. Wait. Moving on. I mean, have you watched any of these games, Jeff?
I have watched almost all of them. They've been awesome. And everybody was like, this is going to be a terrible NBA Finals. The Thunder are going to sweep and, this and this and this. I actually really like the Pacers in 6. Obviously, that's not going to come to fruition as we will have a Game 6 tomorrow. But I would not be shocked or surprised to see a Game 7 in Oklahoma City.
Right?
Well, we'll see. He's getting an MRI. He did come back and play a little bit. But, yeah, unfortunate once again and kind of just a really lucky run for the Thunder, as they've had pretty much injuries to players in every single series that they've played. So, you listen, basketball is about that sometimes. But if you were a basketball head and you were like somebody who really follows basketball, even in the regular season, I thought this was going to be a great series.
I have yet to see one so-called talking head that has been excited about this series or talked it up.
Yeah, I don't think a lot of them watch basketball. Honestly, these games have been really competitive. They've, for the most part, always come down to the very end. Even though, obviously, Oklahoma City has pulled away a little bit in the last, 30 to 40 seconds of both games. It has been a situation where you've literally had, it was a 2-point game with, 6 minutes left the other night. So I just, this whole narrative that it's been terrible is just, I don't know. It falls
game
flat on its face.
Game 2 is a little bit of a blowout, but other than that, you're absolutely right.
But yeah,
and, after watching the Indiana Pacers against the Knicks, I saw no reason. I almost bet them. I think they were plus 600 or something like that. Yeah. I'll tell you, though, also, like before, I think it was before the Knicks series, they were like plus 1,600 to win the chip. And I do believe that Oklahoma City will get it done. I want it because I have other issues and other things on the Indiana Pacers. So I do. Yeah, I don't know. It is what it is. Like I said,
I thought it was interesting. I was really looking for an exact Pacers to win in Game 6 exactly. I wanted to basically bet that Indiana would win Game 1, would win Game 3 and 4, and win Game 6 exactly. And when you go on, and I don't want to shit on Hard Rock at all, but I will a little bit on them because first of all, the customer service is absolutely terrible. Second of all, the way that they don't allow you to actively I think hedge things out sometimes. They don't offer great lines on anything. I think there's
lines are trash.
There's a lot to be said about how you need competitive markets because it keeps everybody in check, and they're just an unchecked market that can do whatever they want to, and that's a problem.
100%. I'll give you a perfect example. The other day, before the Canadian Grand Prix, I happened to look, and Max Verstappen was plus 750 to win the Drivers' Championship. So I text my cousin. I'm like, cousin Clay, I'm like, bro, this seems a little egregious. Plus 750 and the Red Bull car's already. He's like, yeah, I'm hammering it. So I hammer it, whatever unit size, no unit shaming here. I hammer it. It goes under review to see if they'll accept the bet. 30 minutes later, they accept the bet. Then my cousin texts me, goes, hey, and I got it plus 750. And my cousin goes, I hate to burst your bubble. FanDuel was plus 900. Perfect example right there. The Hard Rock app and the Hard Rock bet has worse odds than your local bookie.
Yeah. To the point where, and I was going to say this, is I've actually gone back to look at the offshore stuff that I used to be a part of before, but I wanted to go back just to kind of see what you can do. And there's so many more options for you to do things. Now, can you do a bunch of the props, parlay together? No. But when it comes to certain things, like if So the reason I didn't want to bet it was because I felt like at plus 1,300 to bet the exact games, it wasn't worth it to me to bet the Pacers in 6. I looked at it and I said, if I'm betting they're going to be plus 250 on basically every single money line, every single game. So if I'm betting that, how is that okay for it to be plus 1,300 for them to win in exactly 6 games? So I didn't even take the bet, which it didn't hit anyway. But that was the kind of mindset of, I'm like, this makes zero sense that this line is like this.
100%. And I also told you that I've been dabbling in the MLB, right? I've been using the book Trading Bases. With trading bases with AI, and it had been able to produce some good stuff. But just with that as well, like AI is pulling the odds, the consensus odds, and sometimes the consensus odds is plus 180, and Hard Rock has it at plus 150.
Yeah.
It's just absolutely ridiculous. And you know, I'm sorry that, you know, you got your land stolen from you, and I'm sorry that everything that you went through. But the fact is that you cannot have an entire state monopoly. You already have the casinos. You're the only one that has the casinos in Florida. That's your dig. Open up the books, boys. Open up the books.
What do you think they pull in?
I don't think it's as much as you think, to be perfectly honest. But it's a lot. I mean, I would have to say probably almost 20% of their entire revenue stream is on marketing.
Yeah.
100%. And the fact is, just look at the marketing, right? There's one commercial I see, the guy's in a hot tub, and he's like, I don't really know anything about this. And they're like, you don't need to. Just place the bet.
Yeah.
I'm just like, holy shit. They're telling you right to your face, guys.
And then, like, the cool thing they used to do was battle the bets, right? So they would basically put out a line. They would say, both teams to score under 104, both teams to score over 116. And it would be, you know, plus 250, plus 300. But then you would win a share of that money and you'd get it as a bonus bet. At one point, it ended up being $371 that people won who took this $1 bonus bet. So they stopped doing that. And now they have it where you have to bet the exact score of what the combined points will be in the game. Which,
I mean, that should just tell you right there that basically they're giving away free money, you know, to try to get more people in. And I think a lot of people are going back to their local guys just because of that. I mean, the odds are terrible, man. They are. Now, to your point, you know, when you want to do, you know, put together 15 different prop parlays and put it together, yeah, they have that. But so does Underdog. So does, you know,
Prize Picks, and, you know,
they all have
those other places that you can hop onto and do as well too. So no, I completely agree with you. The last thing I'll say too is that you were talking about the marketing. You know, one of their biggest marketers is Post Malone. And he happened to be at our local watering hole last week, the night before his concert, and he rolls in, and one of my buddies goes, I just gotta wonder what his unit size is and what he bets on sports. So he walks up to Posty's sitting down, and you know, Jason Miller, who's actually been on the show before, actually, I think he did some kind of college thing one time, but walks up to him and says, hey, I just got to know, what's your normal unit size that you bet on sports? And he goes, I don't bet sports. Bet. Yeah, he goes, I play blackjack. I play blackjack, but that's just a marketing thing. And I'm like,
you could tell, if you can't tell by listening to him talk at any of his interviews or watching what he does, like he buys Pokemon cards, and I'm not saying there's anything wrong with Pokemon. You can just tell that they show his bet as a $50,000 bet is what they show, or something like that on there. I'm like, there's no way this dude's betting $50,000. There's just not. He doesn't care about that shit. You can just tell.
No. So he's a huge Cowboys fan, though.
Well, of course, yeah. I mean,
which is funny because then my boy Jay turns to him and says, "Go Birds!" And as he says that, somebody snaps the picture, and the picture of Post Malone looking at him, and the look is like literally hanging it in the fucking Louvre. It is hilarious. I'll send it to you later, but really funny.
I'd like to see that.
But I will say this about Post Malone.
How long did he stay there?
He was there almost an hour and a half.
I was gonna say, I figured he'd probably stay there until it just got a little too much. You know, it
was really cool though. He was having dinner. You know, they were looking up places. The way the story goes, the bartender / server says, "Oh, nothing good ever happens at Kitty O'Shea's. It's like a hole in the wall, you know, whatever bar, industry bar." And he goes, "Nothing good happens there. Perfect. That's where we're going." And so that's why he popped up. But couldn't have been nicer. Shook everybody's hand, took all the pictures and everything. Unbelievable. And then put it on an amazing show the next night that we went to. So it's really cool.
I saw you guys all have VIP.
We did not have VIP.
Oh,
that's open to anybody.
Oh, okay, never mind.
It's like when you go to a Magic game, But you know, when you go to a Magic game, no, this is a good segue. You know, when you go to a Magic game and you discover Jernigan's for the first time, and you're like, oh, I could just
What?
buy like Jernigan's.
What's that?
Jernigan's is like a bar where they have a buffet area as well too, and it's like that you can get all you can drink if you want, but if you want, you just go up and order drinks, and it's like it looks like it's at a suite. And shut up, Justice. We're not going to tell that story right now.
What are you talking about? Are you talking about
Jernigan's.
the ultimate tickets with the buffet and everything?
You can buy that, but you can just walk into Jernigan's.
Oh,
You didn't
yeah,
know this?
I don't sit with the plebs, bro. I sit courtside. I go underneath. It's all free.
Sure. But if you want to buy a $10 ticket, you can literally walk past all the suites and walk right into Jernigan's and just run a tab there and chill.
Oh,
there
you mean up in the nosebleeds?
Okay.
We don't sit at club level anymore. What are you, basketball? Would you bring your binoculars with you?
Yeah. I mean, or there's a TV right there to watch it. Doesn't really matter.
Nothing like going to a game, watching it on television. Anyway, Magic are in the news again with a blockbuster trade here.
Yeah.
That if I had hair, I would be scratching it and trying to figure out what the hell is going on. I'm going to let you preface this, and then okay, go ahead. What?
Give me your initial reaction, and then I'll tell you what I thought about it.
So first of all, Desmond Bane is a good player. I mean, he had a couple. Was it 2 years ago? He had all the controversy or whatever it was. I'm just
What do you have controversy for?
What wasn't that? Yeah, that was him, wasn't it? Did he? And then he got traded to the Grizzlies, correct?
He got drafted by the Celtics back in like 2020, and then got traded to the Grizzlies.
Maybe it's not the same one I'm thinking of.
Are you thinking about Ja Morant?
Nah,
who played for the Grizzlies.
I could have swore that he got like pushed out of the last place that he was. Maybe I'm thinking of somebody different. I don't know. Yeah, he did like he got pushed out of somewhere. I thought that he did something stupid. I can't remember. Let me see here. Forced. Wow,
I don't remember him ever getting forced out of anywhere. I remember him getting drafted by Boston and then traded by Boston to Memphis, where he's kind of fit into his role now that he's had.
It could be a different guy. I don't know. Anyway, I do know he's a very serviceable player. Okay, the only thing that jumped out at me is initially I saw 5 first-round picks. Now I know that one of them now is a first-round swap, so it's really just 4 first-round picks plus 3 players, and I just have to think in 3 times if what? Oh, there he is. Where the hell did you go? 3 times if you could lean back. Oh, I thought he was gone. I didn't see ahead. If you could look up the Kevin Durant trade for me real quick, I would really appreciate that. It was 4 first-round picks plus like 3 players. And that's immediately what I went to. I'm like, didn't they get like 4 or 5 first-round picks for Kevin Durant? I thought that it just seemed egregious to me. Like they pretty much mortgaged the house for this guy. And I don't think that anybody has this guy as a top 10 player in the NBA. And I feel like that trade that they made would be for an absolute superstar. I mean, look at obviously Anthony Davis is better than Caldwell Pope and whoever else they traded. But I mean, they only, that trade wasn't even close. I can't wait for Jeremy to bring up. I just thought, I know that you said that he fits well, and all the talking heads said this is a great fit. I understand all of that. I just feel like that they gave up so much for a non-top tier player.
Yeah. I'll kind of push back on that a little bit. And I think when you, I'll be honest.
Okay, let me just put real quick. He just put this in here. The Phoenix Suns acquired Kevin Durant and TJ Warren from the Brooklyn Nets in a 4-team trade that also involved the Milwaukee Bucks and the Pacers. The Suns sent Mikal Bridges, Cam Johnson, Joe Crowder, 4 future first-round picks. Mm-hmm. So it's literally the same as Kevin Durant. I don't think he's on that level, but go ahead.
Well, I don't think you can compare to Kevin Durant when you're also talking about all these players that were coming back in return, right? You're talking about Mikal Bridges, who ended up getting traded to the New York Knicks for a haul. as well too, which that was like what 3 firsts and something else as well too. Cam Johnson, who's become a really serviceable player, who is really on the trade block as well too.
But
Jay
the Magic
Crowder,
didn't
who's an
get any other
NBA
players.
vet. I'm sorry?
But who else did the Magic get besides Bane?
I'm saying this plus the picks all went for Kevin Durant, right? Mikal Bridges, all-star, Cam Johnson, rising star. There's a lot more there, in my opinion.
Three players and 4 first-round picks, and the Magic sent 3 players and 4 first-round picks.
The Magic sent 2 players, who
I
are Kentavious Caldwell-Pope.
Mid-tier.
So we signed KCP.
I see what you're saying. I see what you're saying.
This is what I'm going to say. Is that we signed KCP last year, and first and foremost, I appreciate everything KCP did. I think KCP went through a rough time here. He had a baby in the middle of the season. If he has a baby in the middle of the season when KCP is 22 or 23 years old, it's very different from when KCP has a baby in the middle of the season when you're in your 30s. Okay, there's different things that you feel like you want to be there for. Your entire mind is not completely focused on basketball. I give KCP a pass for this year. He was god awful. And the other problem was, too, we had to get out of this contract because we owed KCP $48 million over the next 2 years. So if anybody's going to take KCP for $24 million a year and you need to get that off the books, you're going to have to throw in a little bit extra to sweeten the deal with somebody. Now, we can talk about the picks. And also, the way that this went down, right, they announced this at like 10:30, 11 o'clock in the morning on Father's Day. I'm like, dude, everybody's texting me, blowing me up. I just want to sit and chill. Justice, I appreciate you texting me. I gave Justice a whole dissertation, and he just responded with, okay, then. Because he's like, oh, this is ridiculous. And I sent him my opinion, and he goes, oh, okay, I got it. Basically, when we talk about picks, we're talking about what you think might be available in the future. And if you project that this trade is going to change your team, and I think bringing a guy like Desmond Bane, a guy who can stretch the floor, who plays defense, who's a slasher, to pair along 2 other guys, and Paolo and Franz, there's a really nice triangle offense they could set up right there with backdoor cuts. I think like the sky is the limit when it comes to this team. Now you have Jalen Suggs, one of the best defensive backcourt duos in the entire NBA. Everybody's freaking out about the picks, right? Okay. We had 2 picks in this year's draft. We had 1 open roster spot after this year. So one of those picks was going to go straight to the G League. You got rid of it. We still have 25. We're slated to get Walter Clayton Jr. right now, is who I pray comes here because I think he's the perfect fit for the Magic as well. If not, you'll get a big. Really not a big deal. Now, the only pick that really hurts is the Phoenix pick, which is next year. Because Phoenix, now that Kevin Durant is about to get traded for a bag of chips, you want to talk about what Kevin Durant's worth. Let's see what the haul that comes back for Kevin Durant whenever he gets traded here. And then your opinion can be whatever about it, but this is where the NBA views these players nowadays. Desmond Bane being 26 years old, you have 4 years of club control over him. Well, I didn't want to like toot my own horn there or say anything about that. You have 4 years.
I'm tooting it for you.
You have 4 years of club control over Desmond Bane, right? When that contract runs out, when Desmond Bane, and listen, the Magic are going to re-sign Paolo Banchero to go super max offseason well too. So I'll have another 5 years. When everything runs out and comes to fruition, you're going to be going into your second stint of now having Paolo on the second part of being a superstar, right? Paolo B, going into like what he's going to be 26, 27 years old. So you're still going to have a window to be able to make a push for the next 6 years when you get your picks back if you want to reset or change the team. This is an all-in move for the next 4 to 5 years that the Magic have committed themselves to. They're going to be in the second apron of the salary cap. They're going to be paying luxury tax. This is what it is. But listen, when you have a team and you think that you can do this, you jump on it. Now, do I think what the Indiana Pacers have done have maybe pushed the Magic to fast forward that a little bit? Absolutely. Because when you see a team like Indiana who went through what they went through last year, 7 games, going to these conference finals and now making that run, I feel like the Magic think that their trajectory is going in the exact same direction. And the East is wide open. So if you know that the East is wide open, you know that Jason Tatum is out pretty much most of the year next year, if not the entire year, then you need to go pedal to the metal. And also with the way that you played Boston, who's supposed to be the bullies of the East as well too, when they were fully healthy, I thought that added to this as well. I do feel for Cole Anthony. I don't really want him to leave. He's been great for the community. We drafted him. He's been an incredible guy. But Cole, we needed Cole to be a shot maker, playmaker, dynamic point guard, and that's what Cole's supposed to be, and that's what Cole never turned into, unfortunately. And so because of that, you got to move on. They've already made a couple roster decisions as well, too. They didn't pick up the option for Gary Harris, did not pick up the club option for Corey Joseph. The next thing that we go into now is, will they pick up the club option for your boy and one of the Magic favorites, Mo Wagner? He is due a pretty decent penny next year. And so the thought process is maybe you could renegotiate with him, get him for like maybe 3 or 4 years at maybe a lower rate. But then how do you have that conversation when he just came off of an ACL tear and he just signed his deal last year and he was playing as maybe the 6th man of the year before he got hurt? So there's a lot that's going to have to go into this. But I absolutely love the move. I think Desmond Bane, culture-wise, fit-wise. The only thing that I'm sad about, Desmond Bane wearing the number 3, and we're not going to be able to hear Paul Porter scream 3D. As Dennis Scott used to go by, because it does kind of remind you a little bit of that as well too. That Dennis Scott role of the spot up shooter and wearing number 3, really really cool.
Is Paolo a top 10 player in the NBA?
Not right now, but 15? I think he's top 15 for sure.
I think that Mo. What's Franz's contract look like? He just signed, yeah.
Yeah, he's locked up for the next 5 or 6 years.
I think Mo will take less money to stay with his brother, to be perfectly honest with you.
I guess the question is, do you want to try to leverage that situation? Like, do you want to push that button? I don't know. So
let's do it. So Mo signed a 1 to 2 year deal. What is that for? $22 million in 2024.
Yeah, so
$11 million.
Basically, they have a team option to so. The new CBA is really weird. I kind of went down this rabbit hole. Basically, they had to cut Gary Harris and Corey Joseph because if they didn't, technically because of when the league year runs out is until July 1st, and they made the trade before July 1st, this would be on the books for this year. It would put them in a different apron. So they had to make the cut before July 1st. The NBA is so out of whack.
Franz just signed a $250 million contract.
Yeah, it actually has the potential to be like 280 million, depending on if he makes all-star teams and all NBAs and stuff like that.
I 100% believe Mo will do whatever it takes to stay with his brother. Why wouldn't you? I mean, at the end of the day, if you're getting paid $11 million in Orlando or $11 million in California, it's still a big difference. And you're gonna, or $11 million in Florida versus $15 million in California is still going to be the same thing at the end of the day after taxes. So I think you're going to be okay there. Obviously, he's one of my favorite players, so we'll see what happens.
My thoughts about the picks, though, real quick, because I meant to say this and I didn't really. I think the picks are only as good as what you're going to value them to be. And when I say
I was getting ready to come back to the picks.
You can have too many assets at a certain point, right? So we are giving up Phoenix's pick, and then only 2 of these are actually like years where we won't have a first round pick, basically.
At the end of the day, though, I mean, we've talked about this numerous times, and Paulie Parputz or whatever just likes to go off on one of his tangents, and honestly, the NBA is so hit and miss for superstars, obviously, with NBA picks. If you don't have like the top 3 or 4, maybe top 5, to your point, it's a project player, right? They're probably going to start down lower. They're going to work their way up. Now you might hit gold there, but the odds of getting a Cooper Flag, or even when you do hit a Zion Williamson, look what happened to him. Very few of those number 1 picks have just panned out. We've talked about this numerous times with NFL as well. So yeah, I don't think that the first round picks, especially in the NBA, the way that they're thrown around, are actually valued that much. So if you can get a proven player for, like you said, 3 to 4 years of your first round picks, it's not like the NFL, right? Where 3 to 4 first years of first round picks is going to really put your franchise on the clock. So yeah, I agree. I just thought it was egregious for that player. That's all. I just thought, but I
just think I don't think most people know how good Desmond Bane really is. You're talking about Orlando Magic, who are like one of the worst 3-point shooting teams. The worst 3-point shooting team in the NBA. Now you're bringing a guy who shoots 43% from 3. A guy who, everybody wanted this offseason was guys like Anthony Simmons and Trae Young and, all these different people that they thought that they could get their hands on. Desmond Bane actually averaged 5.8 assists last year.
What do you think about
the Knicks? More than both of them. And so to me,
sorry.
I'll just finish real quick on the Magic. And I've also had this opinion too, because I've tried to figure out how to articulate it when it comes to like Oklahoma State. I think there comes a point where you have too many assets. You have too many picks where you're not going to be able to use those picks on guys that you're going to be able to bring in and develop because there's no roster space for them. The roster is pretty much set. And now you have multiple picks in the first round for the next 5 years. Okay, well, that's 10 players. Where are those 10 players going to go? What are you going to just throw them all in the G League? You know,
Well,
like eventually you have so many assets that your assets become watered down and you devalue your own assets because people know that you can't do anything with them.
well, I
And
think
so
once you see Oklahoma City win this chip, you're going to see some of these players get traded.
Well, I wouldn't be surprised. And that was my thing too, is I'm like, you could, okay.
I mean, you
but
got
then
Chet still on a
you-
rookie deal, right?
Oh, for sure. Jalen Williams is making like
Shea?
$4.5 million this year. Like-
Is Shea still on his rookie deal?
No, but Shea, I think Shea has a chance to get. Shea just signed something. I think Shea makes like whatever. I think combined they make $50 million. The three of them.
He's not getting paid NBA championship money. So
No,
that's what I'm
no,
saying.
no.
I think you're going to see some of these chips get traded away, especially right at the top. I think it's a great move.
And one more thing to point out about Shea, if we think about this, right? If they win the NBA championship, which
Win.
for all intents and purposes, they have 2 games to win with no Hallie, it's going to be really tough. Think of, and if let's say Shea wins Finals MVP, how
Which
many
he probably
players? How many players have won league MVP, have been an NBA championship, NBA champion in the same year, and NBA Finals MVP?
I'm going to go with maybe 5 or 6.
I'm gonna go with under 6. Like he's having, I think, one of the
Joker?
maybe top.
Joker,
Yeah,
Jordan,
Michael Jordan.
His your goat.
LeBron? No, oh, no. I don't know why I had to respond with that. I just said, "What are you talking about?" But
Yeah, you knew what I'm talking about. Oh well, we'll have to dig into that. I think it's.
I think it's like Magic Johnson.
Yeah,
Right?
that's 3.
One MVP and one
But then you like think
Finals
about like
MVP.
Steve Nash. Like Steve Nash might have.
Steve Nash definitely didn't win NBA Finals MVP.
Did he not?
No,
Are you sure?
yeah, he wasn't on that Dallas team.
NBA MVP
It was Dirk.
Finals. What about Dirk?
I also think this too. I don't think Dirk won MVP that year. I also think this too is that it's crazy to think about. He's got it in the chat.
Jaylen Brown? No, Jaylen Brown didn't win the regular season. Joker, Steph Curry.
Okay, so LeBron
Giannis?
did do it.
This is just Finals MVP. I'm looking at Finals MVP. I don't.
So Kareem, Moses Malone, Larry Bird, Magic Johnson, Michael Jordan, Hakeem Olajuwon, Shaquille O'Neal, Tim Duncan, LeBron James, and now you have a chance to have. SGA
So how many
in
was
there as
that?
well.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6,
10.
Just wrong. I'll take it. What do you
am
think?
wrong.
Real quick before we move on out of the NBA, what do you think about the Knicks get rid of Tibbs?
I think it's terrible, and I think it's just
With obviously no plan.
some shit that James Dolan does because he runs a poverty franchise.
Well, the rumors is the players outside of Jalen Brunson. Apparently, the rest of them, nah. I don't know how you fire a coach that takes you to the to your conference finals. Arguably, I mean, it's a team, but I don't. There's obviously holes in it.
I don't know.
But,
I like. There's so much player empowerment now in the NBA, and it sucks.
Yeah, I hate it.
Like I go back to Dwight Howard and Stan Van Gundy, and obviously, I just it just sucks the way it works now,
Yep.
right? And if Jalen Brunson loves Tibbs and the other ones don't, get rid of the other ones.
Yeah, I just don't see how you fire a coach without a plan in place. Obviously, they wanted Jason Kidd. The Mavericks denied him, and then they went after Billy Donovan. The Bulls denied him, which looks like they're going to wrap him up with an extension. I think Billy's a good coach. He hasn't done shit, but what has he had to work with? I don't know. Whatever. We spent way too much time on the NBA. I apologize to the fans, but before we move on to the next one, let's briefly. I put it in the headlines. We have to talk about it. The WNBA is on the docket. I happened to see this little skirmish. First of all, I saw Katie Clark highlights where she's running down with her tongue out, and I get it. I get the passion, but I'm like, what? And then we got a little rumble in Indiana, and first of all, I don't know, man. It's just I don't know. It's just I don't know how to say this without sounding just not cool. But
go ahead.
I mean, we got.
I'm sure it'll go over well.
We got fights in women's basketball. I mean, we got people just body checking. We got, arms in the. I don't know, man. But let me just tell you this: for the WNBA players, as you've said numerous times, you should just put Caitlin Clark on a pedestal because she is literally the only thing elevating your franchises. You saw it when she went on the IL that literally nobody watched the freaking games. Like, the attendance was way down. Ticket prices were down 90%. I mean, to your point, she's the Jordan of the WNBA. Jordan, not LeBron. She's the Jordan. Actually, no, she might be more like LeBron because when LeBron came in, he was the king. He was the chosen one to start with. And so Caitlin Clark is the LeBron of the WNBA. I just think it's hilarious. I really do.
So, okay, a few things. First of
And
all,
let's keep this short, Jeffrey. Short. We have a few topics to get into. We only have 18 minutes left. Short, very short.
Connecticut Sun and the Liberty were one of the most highly rated games in WNBA history on Caitlin Clark's return. Obviously, she comes back. She hits, 4 threes from the logo, or 3 threes in however many seconds
the girl
it was.
Can shoot.
It's crazy, and that's why we love her, right? But there is this other part of it as well too, where she is a little bit of a heel. She's got a little. Something in her that kind of turns you off sometimes a little bit. I will say this: they need to start protecting her a little bit better. If you saw the way that it went down last night,
ejected? No, it was just like a flagrant one. That girl should be ejected.
She got punched in right in the eye. Right.
Well, that was an accident.
Okay, I get it, but you still it. First of all, the arm
extension, the girl
hits her right there. No, the girl was talking shit, and then she kind of pushed her off, and then Marina Mabrey comes from behind and just body checks the shit out of her. I don't know how she's not thrown out. And then later on in the game, so I guess this is also too, if you watch the game, Caitlin Clark and that girl had just been battling the entire time.
Yeah.
It was trying to check her 90 feet the entire time, full court press, whatever, blah, blah, blah. And then it turns into what happened. And then toward the end of the game, when the game's already over, her girl, Sophie Cunningham, decides that on a fast break, she's going to tackle said chick, throw her in a chokehold and throw her to the ground, which I loved. And God bless Sophie Cunningham. It's great. Anyway, I love it. I love the, finally somebody's trying to protect her. It sucks that the refs let it get to that place where it was. They should have done a better job. But whatever. It is what it is. It got there. Sophie Cunningham was, but the other two weren't. Marina Mabrey and
who's the one that body checked her, that sent her flying?
Yeah, Marina Mabrey.
She's the one that should have been ejected. All right,
I agree. And if she gets ejected, nothing probably happens later on.
That's way too much time that we spend on the WNBA. I completely apologize to all of our followers out there. I know that.
Also, one thing I want to say. One more thing.
One more thing. Mute him. Nope. I think I can mute him.
Please stop.
I will mute. I see. I got it right there, guys. I muted his mic. He can no longer talk. You are now safe.
I want to be critical about something. The fact that they sent a cease and desist to the guys who have been betting the Angel Reese to miss her first basket is so fucking pussy. The reason you're getting ratings is because of shit like this. And you send them, the WNBA sent them a cease and desist.
How can you do that?
I have no clue. But I saw it pop up that they're basically going to sue them for bullying or something like that if they continue to do it because they feel it as a threat to one of their players in the WNBA. I don't know, dude. I was like,
we're profiting off of your.
I'm like,
again, I apologize, everyone. I apologize. We spent 3.5 minutes on this. I completely apologize. Let's get into some more. Let
us take over the WNBA, right? Let us take it over. We'll clean that shit up.
I'm just saying. Who was
very
it?
white.
I can't remember. It was either Clay. It was one of the old Packers. I can't remember who it said. They said, "I'll pay anybody $250,000 a year to say you're a trainee and go play in the WNBA. 5 of you, and we're going to dominate. I'll do the team."
Clay Travis offered $1 million.
Well, maybe that was him. Where's Joanna Man? All right, outside of Brittany Griner, who was already Joanna Man. We need Joanna Man, dude. That's what we need. Could you imagine LeBron or KD? KD, put on a dress, boy. Let's get it. Anyway, let's move on to some better topics. NFL news: Aaron Rodgers finally signs. He comes back from his ayahuasca retreat. he finally signs with the Pittsburgh Steelers. This is something that, we kind of figured all along, especially when they didn't draft a quarterback. They didn't do shit. I was very, very weirded out, I guess, though. So you went and got DK Metcalf, right? And then you got rid of George Pickens. Like, if I was Aaron Rodgers, like, I would have wanted both of them. I don't know why you wait to sign after that. I don't know, Jeffrey. Who has the better season? Aaron Rodgers in Pittsburgh or Justin Fields in New York?
Are we talking like stat wise, or are we talking what their teams are going to do?
Stat wise. Obviously, Justin Fields is going to rush for more yards. Aaron Rodgers is probably going to throw for more yards. So, where do we call it?
Do you want to call it on fantasy points? Who has more fantasy points this year?
Yeah, sure. I'll take Fields.
I'll take Fields too.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, Pittsburgh just feels like they're doing the same shit every year. I don't know. I mean, who you got?
This is definitely an upgrade. I mean, Aaron Rodgers over Russell Wilson is definitely an upgrade.
I couldn't believe that. Honestly, it looked to be like, obviously Justin Fields started the season 4-2. He looked like he was in his groove, man. And based on the reports that were coming out, especially with Russell Wilson and Arthur Smith telling don't throw the ball downfield. We're not a down the field pass team. And to see what Justin Fields did with not being allowed to throw the ball down the field, I mean, I thought he did good. I'm very excited for him. This is it, though, man. Justin Fields, this is it. If you can't win with the Jets and whatever's going on here, I actually take that back. Not even win, but you just have to perform, man. You have to be able to hit your balls. I hope that you've been in the gym working out. I follow your IG. I see the stuff that you're putting in. I'm rooting for you, man. And not just because I'm a bag holder and all of your shit. I genuinely feel like you're a good human being who just got completely screwed by the Chicago franchise. So I am rooting for you. But this is it, bro. If you can't do it here, you're going to follow the Mitchell Trubisky timeline.
Justin, did you say 9 wins? You talking for the Steelers or for the Jets?
I'll take the under on the Steelers all day in that division. They're going to lose to the Bengals. What?
I think the Steelers probably win the division.
Oh, my God, dude. People are listening to this, Jeff. People are listening to this and think that you know what you're talking about.
Mm-hmm.
How much money do you want to put on the Steelers not winning the division?
I don't know yet. The Bengals still have the trashiest defense in the league. Probably
any amount that you want. You just let me know.
They're going to be great on offense. It's going to be shootouts, and that's going to be a lot of fun. I love what Pittsburgh did in this draft. I love the way that they've constructed their team.
Is TJ Watt reported yet?
He will.
Nope.
It's fine.
Oh, he will.
He will.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Really?
The only thing you're worried about is what? Also, I will say this.
Baltimore?
I did make a bet that I placed completely sober that Shedeur Sanders would be the offensive rookie of the year.
Yeah, well, that's free money for somebody. I hope you didn't give it to the Indians at Hard Rock, but that's free money for somebody.
I think Shedeur Sanders, from what I've heard, has looked great in camp.
You've heard. So you're trusting who? The media?
Twitter.
Yeah. Do you have anything to wrap up this NFL talk? Because
I also placed a bet on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers to win the Super Bowl as well too.
I don't think that's a crazy bet.
You know what's crazy about?
I might put the money on Baker MVP again.
You were talking about how you don't really know who Desmond Bain is, and you feel like it's whatever, blah blah blah. Do you know what FanDuel had the Orlando Magic odds at to win the NBA championship before and after Desmond Bain got traded?
20,000, 10,000.
So they went from plus 3,700, so 37-1, to 15-1.
I bought
after the trade.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Well, obviously, Jason Tatum being out, obviously, is, like you said, opens the whole door. So we'll see what happens. We'll see what that. U.S. Open was last week. Jeffrey has some hot takes on the U.S. Open. Now, I'm just gonna let you go, Jeff. Let's hear your review on the United States Open.
That shit was egregious. I think we get to a point where, we want to make the course tough and we want to do this and this and this, and we love the carnage and all this shit. At a certain point, it becomes whack, dude. Like, I found it very difficult to try to kind of handicap this because when you set up a course like this, the variance becomes so high where a slight thing that happens will literally alter the course of the entire tournament, because the numbers become so big. And I just think that's really whack. I think they got to a point where they made the course so tough, so long, the rough so thick, so gnarly, pin placements diabolical, greens so fast that when the rain showed up, they fucked up, and they didn't do anything to try to correct that. There was no lift clean in place that they put into order. There was, fucking hell, Scotty Burns or I'm sorry, Sam Burns, unfortunately, hits his ball. I don't know if you saw this, right? Where it was like literally in water. They're like squishing their feet around where he hit his ball from. And
I saw the video.
The officials walk up and they're like, "Oh yeah, no, you got to hit it out of that." And what does he do? He's at that point he's tied for the fucking lead, right? He hits the ball, boom, it snaps left on him. As soon as he hits it, you see water splash up. You see him put his club on the fairway. The water's splashing up everywhere. Goes left. It's in such a terrible lie just off the green, and the rough's so thick and wet that he swings at it, basically hits it 2 feet. Now made double bogey, and the tournament's obviously over.
Well, I'm not here to defend the United States Open, but I will say this. I will say you got to have either or. If you want the rough to completely penalize, the greens cannot be running out of 17.
Crazy.
You can't have it to where, because you can't put any spin on the ball coming out of that rough. You can still put them at 12 and be able to hit your spot and not be able to roll over. As far as the water goes, now again, obviously I played in US Open qualifiers back in the day. I played in the Links qualifiers. It comes to a situation if they've deemed golf to be played, right? So they haven't suspended and they're going back. My question would be, was there any spot within 2 club lengths that wasn't like that? And I'm going to say probably not. So when you get
he obviously thought that there was, though.
I'm sorry?
He obviously thought that there was.
Well, I'm sure he probably just was squishing around and like, hey, I can't play out of this, which is a valid point. It's not optimal golf. But if there's no clear area around it, then there's no place to drop it. And I don't know what the official ruling was, so I can't speak completely on that. I'm just saying that could have been a scenario.
Their ruling was that because they couldn't see that there was water above the ground, he wasn't allowed to move it.
I don't know what the exact USGA rule is. I will tell you they have some pretty whack rules.
Yeah.
So
I just thought it was terrible. It could have been a lot better.
To your point, though, I think that honestly, they probably should have just. I know that nobody wants to have plays suspended, right, and go into Monday. But on the same token, you have to think about the players and the legacy and the integrity of the game, to where, in my opinion, after seeing some of that, they probably should have just never restarted.
I agree.
And that's what it is. Sometimes you have to throw the red flag when the drivers can't see on the track. You have to be able to take care of the players and the integrity of the sport. And while I think, obviously everybody wants this to be completed, especially travelers, people that are there for the event, we also know as golfers and as golf, people, that sometimes Mother Nature just does not allow things to happen. I think that probably should have been the case. But I didn't know what the weather was for the rest of the day or the next day. I had it on a secondary TV. I wasn't even paying attention to it. And I'll tell you, I sent this out in the group chat when it was on the rain today and they were showing the 2008 Tiger Woods highlights. Man, golf has fallen off, in my opinion. It really has. I don't know. I don't. Golf has a serious issue. I don't know if it's because of LIV and the separation of the stars. I don't know what it is. And then when I look at the leaderboard in 2008, it was Rocco Mediate, and but back in the day, that was good, man. That was good. I don't know. You had no names that were still competing with Tiger Woods, but man, those were some of the heydays. I just don't feel that same. Maybe it's just me. I just don't feel that same way when I attempt to watch golf anymore as I did back in the day when you had Phil, Tiger, Ernie Els, the Big Easy, VJ was in there. I mean, there was just, I don't know. I guess it's just me. I guess, get off my, I don't.
Yeah, it's a little get off my lawn. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, I don't know.
I mean, Rory. I think Rory's cooked.
I think Rory is just a mental game. I think mental game on Rory is still struggling.
Yeah, but I think Rory hit his goal when he won the Masters.
Well, of course, he got his career Grand Slam, and what else does he need?
Nothing.
That's, a lot of these players that, talked about. I know that the live contracts are coming up, and they've already said, nobody's getting that money up front anymore. Cool. At the end of the day, guys, you need to figure out how to merge this shit. You need to figure out how to make it one league again, and maybe do like one-off events that like feature some of the live stuff. I don't know, man, but to me, golf is in a very, very, very bad state, in my opinion. But what do I know? But I did see that shot from Phil before the U.S. Open, the bunker.
Yeah, that was really cool.
Oh my!
Also, shout out to JJ Spawn, right? Like, you want to talk about a guy who's grinded all over tours, who thought he was going to give up golf at one point, who thought about taking a break even this year, and then to be able to come in, do that. He hits the putt on 18. Then to be there with his daughters and everything like that afterwards, just really cool to see, and happy
US
for a
Open's
guy
always awesome that it ends on
who's
Father's
grinded.
Day.
I remember Payne Stewart winning that year and beating Phil, and
Yep.
just, I don't know, cool stuff.
Then he
man.
died.
Yep.
You don't beat Phil. Yeah. I know you got to get going. So let's just wrap it up real quick. MLB, are you still watching, or have you completely given up on the Braves?
We'll see how the next week and a half goes.
Yeah, you got to give it to at least All-Star break.
Profar comes back beginning of July as well too. Obviously, it sucks. Your free agent signing that you make in the offseason, missing the first 80 games is not ideal.
Are baseball players the softest players in any sport, or is there so much caution with contracts at the length of the season they have no problem sitting them out for 15 days? What do you think? Three-time break.
Who's the softest in any sport?
Quit picking your nose. Put your headphones on.
Who's the softest in any sport?
I don't know. I'm just saying, like, obviously, if anybody plays fantasy baseball, you know exactly what I'm talking about. It's like, they have a small tweak and they're on the IL for 15 days. I have 6 people on the IL right now. So I've dropped 3 already from previous injuries. I think that with MLB, that the season is so long that, if you lose Aaron Judge for 3 weeks, you're still okay. Like, it's not like anything, right? Maybe basketball a little bit. I just feel like it's just so pussyfooted, man. And when you got players that are making $45 million plus a year and they're out because, they felt a little twinge, or I don't know, man. I get the protection of the players and the health and the overall, but man, it's very frustrating when you're trying to play fantasy baseball and literally every day somebody goes down. So are they just soft, or is this just overprotection? What do you think, 3-time?
Overprotection.
I think their body is the way they make their money, so they've got to make sure everything feels right. So
Nolan Ryan pitched for how many years, throwing over 100 pitches a game, never got hurt. I don't know what we're doing in professional sports these days, but maybe the old guys just played through it. They just didn't care. I don't know. But it just seems to me like the more technologically advanced we get in medical care, the more people get hurt. Does that make sense?
That's why I just don't go to the doctor.
My wife does. She usually doesn't go to the doctor.
Don't go to the doctor. You can't be sick.
Yeah. I don't know. What are you gonna do? Any omission, errors, or anything to report?
Got nothing today.
We're sure glad to see you guys again. When are we gonna be back? Taking a month off now?
I've already started working on some of the NFL stuff that I normally do, so that's in the works now. So
I think obviously, college is end of August, correct?
Yep.
And then NFL is the first week of September, which we might be.
Can we just say this too? The fact that College Game Day is not doing Florida State Alabama really pisses me off.
I think that's a travesty.
I told you. I think College Game Day is next. There's no more traveling show.
They announced that they're going to be in Columbus for Texas.
They're doing Ohio State, Texas, along with Fox.
And it's going to be Lee Corso's last whatever. Mm-hmm. But I'm like, why would you not want Alabama FSU? Why would you go do the Big Ten SEC thing when you're just going to be giving – the game's not even on ESPN, right?
No, it's on Fox.
It's going to be on Fox. So why would you not want to hype up the game that you're trying to get your ratings for?
Doesn't really make sense, even though, what is it? So Texas, Ohio State will probably be 1-2 on the ranking. I think Texas is favored to win it
The
all.
game's on Fox. Fox is going to be there. The only reason they're doing it there is because that's the first time Corso ever put on headgear was in Columbus.
There you go, Jeff. There's your answer.
Right. So fuck him being an FSU alum and
Having to make the man travel.
Well, I mean, how many alums do you do? He
lives in Florida.
Alum. He wears a Notre Dame hat everywhere he goes because he was the coach. Like, there's so many hats, like you said, that he could wear. Like, just
I think
pick
that's
one.
Lou Holtz. You're thinking
Corso
about
didn't coach
Corso.
at Notre Dame.
Where did Corso coach at?
FSU.
So he went to FSU and just that's it.
Played with Burt Reynolds back in the day when Burt Reynolds was the running back for Florida
They were
State.
roommates.
Burt Reynolds was
Huskies.
a running back. Yeah, Northern Illinois, Indiana, Louisville, Navy, Maryland, Florida State. Come on, man. Anyway, I feel your pain. Just Florida State's a poverty franchise, so maybe they'll be back this year.
I gotta
Maybe
go.
you'll
I have a hard out. I have to go pick my kids up. From
maybe you'll get
vacation
some
back
love
to
next
school.
year.
We'll see what happens.
I don't know when we'll be back.
Be
It's the
great.
dark days of sports. Go in your hole, hibernate for a while. We'll definitely be back at the end of July, but I don't know before then. We'll just come in and talk some shit. Everybody have a great day. And if you're driving, please, for the love of God, stay out of the left-hand lane.
Be great.